universe wants to remind you that you never lost your power. The one who did it before is still within you. The one who believed anything is possible is still there. The one who dreamed big, trusted, felt motivated, had hope, and knew the magic side of life still exists within you. You never lost your spark, even if you forgot how to use it, or got caught up in the events of life that pulled you out of your imagination. This is a reminder to reignite you, so you can return to being optimistic, a believer, and a powerful manifester.
Looks like you forgot, once again, how powerful you are.
So you are the producer, director, and actor in your own play. You're also the script writer, but the script is being written as it goes along. You know what that means? You can change the script anytime you want. You're the writer. You're the actor. You don't like the way the scene is going? Change it. This is how much power we have, and we don't realize it.
What is your definition of happiness?
A clear horizon. Nothing to worry about on your plate.
As many of your scientists are beginning to realize, everything exists all at once, all now, in a sense, all here. But you create the illusion of separation by creating differences in vibrational frequency. As each and every one of you goes to your homes this day of your time, after these interactions, many of you may sit down on one of your couches, you may pick up one of your remotes, you may turn on one of your television sets, and your TV set technology is a perfect analogy of what we are talking about. The idea is that you know that at any given moment, there are any number of dozens of television programs that are available to you at that moment that all coexist simultaneously. But you will only get the program that you tune your channel to. This is exactly how physical reality is holographically structured.
If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. What you are basically, deep, deep down, far, far in, is simply the fabric and structure of existence itself. So, say in Hindu mythology, they say that the world is the drama of God.
It is said, the most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep, loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen.
You have to learn to select your thoughts the same way that you select your clothes every day. Now that's a power that you can cultivate. You want to come here and you want to control your life so bad, work on the mind. And that's the only thing you should be trying to control.
Okay, so your number one mission in this life, before any other mission or before you go try and do anything else, is you need to figure out what you need to do to be fully okay with who you are, right? You need to figure out what blockages you have about how you view yourself, right? Because your authentic self is your greatest gift to the world. And there was a moment when you were younger and you were fully authentic, that you expressed your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts and your opinions, and you wore funny clothes and you sung and you danced and you looked in the mirror and you didn't see anything wrong or different about you. And somewhere along the way, someone stole your authenticity. They told you to dim your light, and you started to become a character. You started to become this facade. You started to put on a mask for your school, your friends, your family, your society, and you lost your way to your authentic self. And so as you go inward and start to heal yourself, you realize that anything you don't like about yourself is because other people told you shouldn't like it about yourself. You started to believe the lies they were telling you, that you looked different, that you were weird, that you sounded different. And so when you start to heal, you're just exhausted from being this character for everyone else but yourself. And in a world where we're trying to be liked by everyone, we are unable to be loved by anyone. And so we are on an inward journey to find this authenticity, this genuineness, and to reveal our true selves. And figuring it out, what it is that you need to do to be okay with being you. I love you guys. Peace.
Take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego. Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Take ownership of your mistakes, take ownership of your shortfalls, take ownership of your problems, and then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved. Take ownership.
You spend your whole life stuck in the labyrinth, thinking about how you'll escape it one day, and how awesome it will be, and imagining that future keeps you going. But you never do it. You just use the future to escape the present.
Imagine a portal opened up and the person who stepped out was the best version of yourself from another universe who possessed everything you wish you had. The best version of you is deep within yourself. You have to find him by yourself. No one's going to help you but you. And one more thing. Does this sound familiar to you? I'm too tired right now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start on Monday. Your future is determined by every decision you make now. Wake up if you're serious about climbing to the top.
See, that's what Dr. Sebi was teaching us. You know, that's what he went to the Supreme Court Justice for, to show our people that we have the tools to heal you naturally with minerals. Our bodies, our melanin is designed for oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. With those minerals right there, that's putting all those components back into the body to build your alkalinity and keep your immune system strong. So why do we need pharmaceutical drugs if we have the herbs that's of the healing of the nation?
You gotta start focusing more on the reality that you want to create instead of the reality that they're projecting into your mind. See, I live in my own world, so I don't give a about what everybody else is doing. I don't give a about what the government is doing. I'm aware of it. I know about all the conspiracies and corruption going on, but I'm not emotionally invested in it or controlled by it to the point that I'm stressing myself out over it, right? The only thing I can control is my thoughts and my actions. That's what's going to liberate me. Not worrying about what these people that I've never even met are doing. If I'm not spending my time on improving myself, if I'm not becoming stronger, smarter, and more self-sufficient, then how will I even be able to fight against them? See, when you understand the power that you have, you stop living in fear and start creating the life that you actually want to live. But you can't do that if you're constantly giving your energy and attention to things that don't empower you. There's nothing you can do to stop the evil. The only thing you can do is understand it and move accordingly. Because what we call evil is just part of the dualistic nature of this matrix hologram that we live in. This is why they say be in the world, but not of it. Because when you elevate your state of consciousness, you can perceive the good even within the bad. It's all about what
researchers can now measure the vibrational frequency of your emotions. So if you thought that vibes were a new age woo-woo term, you're wrong. It's actually scientific. And can you guess what the strongest emotion by vibrational frequency is? If you guessed love, you're wrong. There is an emotion that is 4 times stronger than the emotion of love. You can look up the original study. The guys at MIT copied some researchers in Germany, and it's called the Spain Scale of Emotion. And they found that the strongest vibrational frequency was emitted from people who were being authentic. Authenticity is the strongest vibrational emotion. And that only happens when people are doing 2 things. 1, when their words are true, and 2, when they believe what they say. This is why it's so important, if you're a creator or if you're in sales, to be yourself, be authentic. There is nothing that will up your game more than just being you.
The most powerful people are the most peaceful people, because these are people.
The world is not a physical place. The world is a spiritual place. How you are interacting right now with reality is based off of how your brain is processing reality. But that doesn't mean that that's what reality is. Maybe you're limited by your senses, right? So you need to be able to see things with spiritual eyes.
Purpose of life
to
is
be
not
able to
be
understand
rich,
how the
famous, or
world really
powerful.
works. And
it is to be
that's
kind,
the journey
to be
that a lot of
humble,
people
and to
may
make
not
a positive
understand. So when
difference in the lives of others.
when they hear me say certain things, they may feel like it's a whole bunch of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole bunch of nothing to a person that cannot see.
If you decide, you don't have to know how. All you have to do is close your eyes and go into your heart and say, God, I don't know how, but I want to find my highest self. I want to find my true power. I'm not in a place where I could even know what the first step is. I'm not in a space where I even have the energy or the courage to take the first step. So I'm going to ask you to please take it for me. Make it evidently clear. And once I see it, I will follow your path, and you watch what happens.
The donkey said to the tiger, "The grass is blue." The tiger replied, "No, the grass is green." The discussion heated up, and the two decided to went before the lion, the king of the jungle. The donkey began to shout, "Your Highness, is it true that the grass is blue?" The lion replied, "True, the grass is blue." The donkey continued, "The tiger disagrees with me and contradicts and annoys me. Please punish him." The king then declared, "The tiger will be punished with 5 years of silence." The donkey jumped cheerfully and went on his way. The tiger accepted his punishment, but before he asked the lion, "Your Majesty, why have you punished me? After all, the grass is green." The lion replied, "In fact, the grass is green." The tiger asked, "So why are you punishing me?" The lion replied, "That has nothing to do with the question of whether the grass is blue or green. The punishment is because it is not possible for a brave and intelligent creature like you to waste time arguing with a donkey, and on top of that come and bother me with that question. The worst waste of time is arguing with the fool and fanatic who does not care about truth or reality, but only the victory of his beliefs and illusions. There are people who, no matter how much evidence we present to them, are not in the capacity to understand, and others are blinded by ego, hatred, and resentment, and all they want is to be right even if they are not.
The difference between an ordinary person and a spiritual adept is that the latter has an energy field which is highly activated and sacred geometrically structured. This makes available to them higher states of consciousness and other powers, which appear magical to ordinary people who are stuck in dense, toxic energy fields. For this reason, hidden traditions of initiation around the world train their students to understand where the key spiritual centers are in their energy field and how to activate them. The very top and bottom chakras along the central channel in our body, the crown, or Sahasrara center, and the base, or Muladhara center, are connected together in their own vertical vortex pair right on the central column itself. Our central column continues down from the perineum at the base of the abdomen to go between our legs and then below our feet into the earth to ground us, and also continues in the opposite direction above the human head to connect us to higher consciousness centers. The energy centers in our physical body can only hold a certain intensity level of power. Otherwise, their high level of voltage would burn out the smaller subtle energy circuits in the human
aura around our body, and it protects us from disease. Every human body is surrounded by an energy field. These magnetic fields are something you don't pay much attention to, but the truth is that the entire survival of the individual depends on maintaining the integrity of this energy flow. Now, the moment we break the spiritual rules, we damage that magnetic flow. We have to observe the laws of nature, and if we don't, the magnetic field fails. It can be damaged by unbridled living. It can be destroyed by moods, attitudes, fear, complexes, alcohol, drugs, narcotics, all kinds of things. But if this field is damaged, it reacts immediately through the health of the individual. You must never allow yourself to develop attitudes that are incompatible with the integrity that nature has bestowed. Magnetic fields are absolutely honest. There is no way to make them dishonest. And if you respect your integrity, you will be full of energy, immune to infection, disease, and suffering.
What exactly is consciousness? Well, it is self-awareness, self-reflection. In order for you to know that you are you, you have to have something else to compare it to. Without a concept of an other, you would not have a concept of self. Therefore, consciousness is literally self-reflection, self-awareness, the ability to know the self by knowing what is not the self.
Is the story of a young reporter at an airport who spots a Buddhist monk and decides to interview him. He asks the monk, "Sir, what would you say is the world's biggest problem? Is it global warming, world hunger, corruption?" The monk smiles and replies, "Let me ask you something first. Who are you?" "I'm a reporter," answers the young man. "No, that is your profession," says the monk. "Who are you?" "I'm John Smith," the reporter answers. "No, that is your name," says the monk. "Who are you?" "I'm a human being." The young man hesitates. "No, that is your species," says the monk. "Who are you?" This goes on for some time until finally the reporter gives in and says, all right. It appears I don't know who I am." Then the monk says to him, "This is the world's biggest problem."
The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man.
We are afraid of giving in to suffering. We are afraid of crying. We are afraid of screaming. We are afraid of going into those very undignified motions. We are fundamentally ashamed of pain because we are taught that giving in to pain, weeping, is unmanly, sissy. Now, it's a very dangerous doctrine that a human being should always be rigid in conditions of suffering. There is strength in weakness.
Sometimes I think about the people that I used to know 6 years ago, and I can no longer relate. I have changed and transformed so much that I realized that if I were to bump into them again, I will have to reintroduce myself because I am no longer the person that they used to know. And that is called evolution. But I also understand that we all choose the frequency that we want to vibrate at, and that's free will. When my son, who is now 6 years old, when he turned 2 and he started talking and expressing himself, he would ask deep universal questions. He was infatuated with math, and he still is. He's already doing basic algebra. My daughter is 2 now, and she's already showing her unique mindset as well. But when I saw my son's mind at the time, I realized that he was here to remind me of a part of me that I had forgotten about myself. As a child, I too was an extremely curious kid. I too had the deep questions, the desire to understand how our world works. But contrary to him, I never had the guidance. So when I saw that part of me in him, I knew that I had to take it upon myself to give him and my daughter what I never had. So I started self-studying and understanding physics, quantum physics, geometry, psychology, science, which I now know one day will have to intertwine with spirituality. And I have to tell you, we are currently in a stage in our world in where all the information, knowledge, and data about how our world and universe works is at the tip of our fingers. So if we choose to remain ignorant and refuse to update our credences of prior credences, well, that is just a reflection of our fear of evolution. And some may say, well, I don't have the time, or it must be nice to have the time to self-improve. I am doing this while raising 2 children, running a business, and being present enough to be a wife, a mom, a boss, and a friend. You see, all we have in this human experience is time. What you choose to do with that time is up to you. As I reprogram my mind with new information by using discernment and my intuition, the more I realize how little we actually know. We live in a universe of uncertainty. Therefore, this society of order, or this matrix we have collectively adopted, goes against our very own nature, which is the path of least resistance. As I came to understand this, I also came to understand that in order for me and my children to be successful and reach our limitless potential, I will have to teach them to carve their own path, to not follow the masses, to discover and retain their uniqueness so that they can better serve humanity. But most importantly, to allow themselves to step into the unknown and be guided by uncertainty. This is how we become the teacher, the student, the way, the life, the truth, and therefore the whole.
What I found was in one of the most obscure and ancient of the texts, a book called the Sefer Yetzirah.
What is that?
It is a Hebrew text that has only been translated a couple of times into English. It's so mysterious, George, that very few scholars even want to talk about it because they don't know what to say about it. The bottom line to what the text is saying is that through language, humankind was created. They talked about the power of the letters of very specific alphabets. When I followed the instructions in a 3,000-year-old text and I applied it to the periodic table, this is what we have. God, eternal within the body. And the God that is depicted in the DNA is actually spelled the way that the name of God was spelled in the ancient text before it was removed.
The universe is made out of energy, it's not made out of matter. And then I say, well, what does the quantum physicists call this energy that the universe is made out of? I say, well, they call it the field. I say, what's the definition of the field? I love this. Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. I go, my goodness, that's the same definition as spiritual is used for spirit. I go, yes, quantum physics, emphasizing the invisible field as primary to the physical world, is essentially reiterating the statement of the spiritual people who talked about the invisible forces shaping our physical existence. And so, by definition, science, the new science of quantum physics, is bringing us back into alignment with the spiritual reality.
Goosebumps and quantum physics, what do they have in common? Well, for one, goosebumps is scientifically called piloerection. And when we get this piloerection or goosebumps, it's usually when we're in a state of awe or wonder. But did you know that when you get goosebumps, your brain's hemispheres are syncing? Creating gray matter, the holy aura, the kundalini, or crystal soil. When you're in sync, you become like an antenna, the perfect receiver for God's biofeedback. This biofeedback comes in the form of light, And this light only comes when you're in sync. This light can penetrate anything, concrete, steel, anything. And so when you have goosebumps, you'll receive downloads from time to time. So why am I saying this? Because I'm here to tell you it's time to practice your goosebumps. Call on them voluntarily. See if you can trigger them. If you can trigger them without music, sound, or imagery, then you're on the right path. This is called voluntarily generated piloerection. Some people call it frisson. Only a few people can do this. It's said 1 in 1,500 people can call under piloerection. So that would mean that only that many amount of people would be able to call under Kundalini. I don't mean to be the breaker of bad news, but if you can't get your hairs to stand at will, then I don't think you can control your Kundalini. This is the biggest misconception of this new age. But there's nothing to fret, because now you can practice. Now you know what you're looking for. The more this knowledge goes out, the more people will be able to tap in. So I'm depending on you guys to like and share this video, so we can find the others that have perfected it, and so that we can find others that want to perfect it. But for now on, my assignment for you is to go watch some videos about love. Videos that specifically only give you goosebumps. It could be in a form of music as well. So as soon as you start feeling the goosebumps approaching, take a moment and learn that feeling. The goosebumps won't last forever, so be quick, be aware, so that once you learn the feeling, you can hold the feeling. It's almost like muscle memory.
Is the place of the electricity, which is in the lower part of the body. It runs up through 7 chakras, which are 7 nerve centers or resistors in your spine. It impacts on the pineal gland and throws open the right hemisphere of the brain. You know, you've heard of like Buddhists and people and that meditate going, Om, Om, you've heard of that, and the energy comes up. Well, let me show you something. This is electrical energy. The 7 chakras are 7 resistors, and the international measurement of electrical resistance is Om. And the way that energy comes up through your spine, hits the pineal, and opens the right hemisphere of the brain is exactly the way the sun comes up from December to April, hits Aries, moves in the northern hemisphere to the right side, and summer comes to the world. Or summer comes to the northern hemisphere. That's exactly right. That's why it happens. That's why you meditate. You meditate to duplicate the energy of the sun. That's why the Jesus is crucified, sits in the tomb, and then rises within you, sits at the right hand of the Father, means sitting at the right hemisphere of the brain.
Lion raised in captivity has never been in the wild. All of his experiences have been in the cage. If all of his experiences have been in the cage, and that would be his natural habitat to him, then why do they lock the cage? They lock the cage because even though his experiences do not validate it, his instincts tell him there's something else out there. And the reason so many of us are frustrated today is that we are pacing around in the cage of a job or a life or a situation that has limited us. We may not have the background for it, we may not have the training for it, but our instincts tell us, I belong out there.
You don't manifest with your head, you manifest with your heart. Did you know your heart produces a magnetic field that's 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain? This means if you say your affirmations without feeling, they won't work. The key to effective manifestation lies in heartfelt emotion. When you infuse your affirmations with genuine feelings, be it love, joy, or gratitude, you amplify their power. It's the emotional charge that turns thoughts into tangible experiences. Start feeling your affirmations deeply. Let your heart, not just your words, speak your desires. This is how you tap into the true power of manifestation.
People, were always asking about action. And I was always teaching, once you get the vision, you can actually ask, what's my next step? And the universe will tell you. In dreams, intuition, direct knowing, but you can actually ask, what is it that I need to do now? What step do I need to take?
Wow.
And if you listen sincerely, you'll hear guidance. You'll feel it. Sometimes you'll get it in a dream.
Wow.
Sometimes you'll just hear, go left, not right. And then suddenly you're meeting the person that you need to meet to go to the next level of your attainment of and the manifestation of your goal and your dream. So action is very important.
Dr. Sebi, I want to thank you for curing my husband. I said, ma'am, I have not cured anyone in St. Croix. No, you cured him in Dominica. He was blind. I said, wait, The only blind man that I have ever treated and cured, he's in Los Angeles, Mr. Frederick. Said, no, you cured my husband. I said, but how could I cure your husband? He was blind and I didn't know it. She said, the policeman that used to come and pick up the remedies and take to my husband didn't tell you what he had. My husband was blind for 11 years. So you're asking me, how could I cure a blind man without seeing him? Well, let me say this. The philosophy of Europe claims that when you're blind, something wrong with your eyes. The philosophy of Africa says, or the understanding of Africa is, not so. When you're blind, something is wrong with your stomach, your intestines. You clean the intestines, your eyes begin to clear up. This is a science that is unknown in the world, but it worked for me.
This is a time when you got to trust your own instincts and don't trust what nobody else say, man. Because people will talk to you all day. Tell you they love you. Tell you they there for you. Tell you they honor you. And then soon you turn your back, they trying to slice your throat, man. You know who I'm speaking about. Because every time you get around these people or this person, you feel crazy. You need to trust your instinct and realize that they got a demonic spirit attached to them. And that's why they want to bind themselves to you so you can have that. No, the Most High said, no, we cutting these cords, man. We cutting these cords with these narcissists. With these incubus and succubus demons, man. With these Jezebel spirits that's trying to possess you and trying to get you pregnant or trying to get pregnant by you. It's time to cut these cords, man. You carry divine energy within you. That's why they want you. That's why they need you, man. They need your light. But they can't.
An individual vibrating at 700 on Hawkins' map of consciousness counterbalances the negativity of 70 million individuals below a level of 200. An individual at 600 counterbalances 10 million people below 200. One at 500 counterbalances 750,000 people below 200. And an individual at 300 counterbalances the negativity of 90,000 individuals below 200. So you see, your vibration may be more important than you thought. And so we cannot allow ourselves to be swept up in the hysteria of what's being perceived around us. And instead, we have to go within and cultivate a holographic version of the world we want to see. We have to hear it, we have to touch it, and we have to feel it. And then we have to hammer it into our psyche over and over and over. We have to anchor the world we want to see. We can't continue to anchor the world they want to see. We have to become relentless about holding the line and holding the space for the loving, fair, just, joyful, and peaceful world we want to see. We are now at the precipice, and so now it is time to apply your training, to be a lighthouse to everyone you come into contact with, of power, strength, compassion, stillness, and peace. It's time now to intensify our connection to each other and to the Creator, to be beyond confident in our true human power to create reality and to steer the world of the seen with what we hold fixed in our unseen realms, to deny the reality they want to see with all our soul, our heart, and our might, so that what we hold true within will propagate the without. This is not a drill, it is time. I know you can do it, I love you, and I believe in you.
Know that the subconscious mind does not know anyone else but you. It has no conception of consciousness other than your own. I explain to students that when we criticize others or find fault, our mind thinks we are speaking about ourselves. That's why it's so important to become aware of the power of our words, because often our words and feelings that are directed outwardly can rebound and cause havoc in our own lives. Of course, we do these things unconsciously. The majority of people do not realize that our thoughts and words are influencing to imprinting our own minds.
I just read this post that said, "You're not healing to be able to handle the trauma. You're used to the trauma. You're healing to be able to handle the joy." No, that ain't the truth.
we have means to let people know they are more than their physical body. And knowing you are more than your physical body is the beginning of knowing that you survived physical death. And knowing that is a tremendous relief in fear. Because if you know that you survived physical death, something else has happened. You are free.
Isn't this in our health textbooks? So Dr. Otto Warburg did research on cellular voltage and he found out that it's so important when it comes to health. He did not find sick people with high voltage and he did not find healthy people with low voltage. Here is a chart explaining cellular voltage. Optimal cell voltage is between 100 millivolts and 70 millivolts. And cancer cells usually have a cell voltage below 20 millivolts. But now you're thinking, why is cellular voltage so important to health? I'm about to share with you guys the craziest experiment with the salamander and the frog. Robert O. Becker was so fascinated with the salamander and its ability to heal itself. The salamander has the ability to regenerate its limbs, half a heart, and even a whole eye. So Robert O. Becker decided to cut off a limb from the salamander and the frog. Mind you that the frog doesn't have these healing abilities, so if you cut off a limb, that's the end of it. When he cut off both limbs, the cellular voltage completely dropped for both of them. But for the salamander, there was a surge of energy that went up to negative 30 millivolts, and all of that energy went straight to the limb. Meanwhile, the frog only had a steady rise of voltage and it went back to its normal state. And Robert O. Becker discovered that this surge of energy is what stimulated this regeneration. So Becker wondered if he supplied a current to the frog stump, will it cause regeneration? And when he supplied a low frequency and a low intensity current, you know what happened? The frog regenerated its whole.
Nietzsche was very accurate when he explained the herd mentality versus the higher human. Herd mentality has a need to fit in. It obeys. It's afraid of judgment. It executes orders. It likes comfort. Herd mentality believes in what the majority says, even if it goes against their personal values. But Nietzsche also described a subcategory of the herd mentality, which is the slave. And the slave is not the same thing. The slave is weak and wants to destroy the higher humans under the false pretense of equality and whatever their master tells them is best for the herd because they are too sick to think for themselves. On the flip side, the higher human doesn't care about that. They have a mission. They are creative. They must be free from the herd. They are noble, often alone, and they will suffer greatly for what they believe is their calling. In other words, you can say that the herd got in line to get vaccinated, the slave shamed the people that didn't get vaccinated, and the higher human never got vaccinated.
Show them hygiene. Ain't enough we sleep all day and all night we a scope and IG. Them say a scientist and some a say them know a 5G. Them say a population control and a cure a vaccine. But one thing I know, the rich I go rich and then the poor I go feel. Alright then arm's length, then another arm's length. Way before I cough, politician in a mask. Well, biological warhead, I wouldn't put it past them. All I know is that Lysol gonna wipe all of them lies off. So it might cost my life.
Might cost my life, but me now stop till them all pay the price. Might cost my life, but me now stop till the people get why. It might cost my life, but me now stop till them all pay the price. It might cost my life, but me now stop till the people get why. Me put my life on the line for this. The people on my shoulder for strength to my spine for this. Deep in the yoga, take control of my mind for this. Living like a soldier, I know me designed for this. Till the fight is over.
Not everyone is depressed. There's no way that so much of a generation is clinically depressed. To me, that's not possible. There's something going on. But it can't just be that everybody is feeling the same exact symptoms. There's no way that everyone here is clinically depressed. People spend 9 hours a day on their phones. People spend 5 hours laying on their side, binge watching, man. Everyone binge watches, which is a symptom of depression. Like, honestly, if you 10 years ago you said someone was gonna lay down here on their side, on their bed, watching their laptop like this, eating junk food, it's like, are you okay? Is something wrong with you? You need to speak to someone? And originally my thesis was that it's because everyone's fucking addicted to their phones. It's all day long staring like this, you know? Social media, constant updates. Studies have shown that getting an Instagram like releases a little bit of dopamine in your brain. And so the rest of the world, the shit outside, being in the cold, being near trees and shit, all this weird stuff, is not as exciting.
You've created a monster. You've created a monster. You've created a monster. Fighting pushed me to the point of breaking. Biting, clawing for the crown I'm taking. You created the monster. I just keep getting stronger. Nightmare.
Researchers can now measure the vibrational frequency of your emotions. So if you thought that vibes were a new age woo-woo term, you're wrong. It's actually scientific. And can you guess what the strongest emotion by vibrational frequency is? If you guessed love, you're wrong. There is an emotion that is 4 times stronger than the emotion of love. You can look up the original study. The guys at MIT copied some researchers in Germany, and it's called the Spain Scale of Emotion. And they found that the strongest vibrational frequency was emitted from people who were being authentic. Authenticity is the strongest vibrational emotion. And that only happens when people are doing 2 things. 1, when their words are true, and 2, when they believe what they say. This is why it's so important, if you're a creator or if you're in sales, to be yourself, be authentic. There is nothing that will up your game more than just being you.
You're going to realize it one day that happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. Happiness was never about following in the footsteps of all of those who came before you. It was never about being like the others. One day, you're going to see it. That happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart, and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day, you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself. That happiness was never in the hands of other people. It was always about you. It was always about you.
You know the pineal gland, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the pineal gland is like, they say it's the God gland, because that's where all the power, all the divine energy, all the things that you can't believe and it's hard to believe, everything imaginary can happen in that pineal gland. It can give you the same effects as psychedelics can give you if you know how to activate it. Now, what have they discovered recently? That the pineal gland has crystals on top of it. And if you think about it, crystals can get charged and they can create energy, right? So how do I charge the crystals on my pineal gland to release that energy that can raise my vibration as a human, allow me to be in touch with my divine power? How do I do that? So they're saying through breath work, you can actually charge these crystals where they light up and they release what they say, the magic stuff.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who made it out to the upgrades this weekend. I want you to hear
this. Cyclic experience. You will create a certain state and then it may seem as if you are falling out of that state, but that's not always for a negative reason. Remember that many times when you achieve a high level of vibration, you download a lot of information into yourself at that level. The idea then is to bring that information and ground it back to earth, and sometimes that actually requires you to lower your vibration to do so that it can sink in and crystallize on a different level. At the same time, recognize that what's happening is not this, What's happening is this. You are always actually climbing up, especially when you don't judge the down part of the cycle, because you're actually always landing higher than you were before, even though it may seem like you're going down. You're actually creating a rising arc.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain. You feel it. You felt it your entire life. There's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your arm.
Glasses are not good for eyes. You see, your eyes are an extension of your brain. Whereas if we go outside on a hot sunny day, the strength of the sun is being monitored by the eyes and the message is sent to the brain. And when the sun is very hot and very strong, it gives a message to the skin to close up little receptor sites so you don't burn so easily. But if you go out into hot sun with sunglasses on, you can burn a lot easier because your brain didn't get the message that the sun's hot to close the little receptor sites.
Every human being is a creator, and they are creating their life. And we are creating our life through our thoughts. So it's not that our thoughts are powerful, it's that we are powerful. And so when we focus on a thought and we really hold that focus, that thought will manifest in our life. And so we create our own life through our thoughts and through the mind. Our mind is super, super, super powerful.
The film you're about to see has no characters, it has no people. It is a film to describe to you and explain visually the effect of cymatic frequencies on texture, structure, water, oil. If you spare a little of your imagination as you watch this film as it runs, you will see many things that answer many questions. You will see living forms, living amoeba, almost animal-like creatures. You will see continents being formed, the Earth itself coming into existence, explosions, eruptions, atomic explosions and bombs. You can see all this and watch it before your eyes. But everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound. Sound is the factor which holds it together. Sound is the basis of form and shape. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Into the great voids of space came a sound, and matter took shape.
Einstein said, match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. The magnetic energy of your heart, coupled with the electric energy of your third eye manifestation, will change the invisible quantum field around you to manifest miracles. You will naturally become more excited about your dreams as you raise your vibration of gratitude. You do not have to hit a home run with every swing. Practice at a slower pace first to make sure you have the motion right. Visualize by inhabiting in your mind the environment, conditions, sounds, temperature, and surroundings ahead of time. This way you will eventually swing faster than the pitch thrown your way when the time comes for you to give it your best shot.
Research shows at 15 hours, we see growth hormone go up. Growth hormone is the hormone that keeps you young and helps you burn fat. We also see in men 1,300% increase in testosterone just from somewhere between a 13 to 15 hour fast. 13% increase in natural testosterone stores. And then we start to see inflammation go down. So all of a sudden, if you have people who have like joints that are hurting, they start doing 15 hours of fasting every day and they're like, God, you know, my joints just don't have that same stiffness in them anymore. But if you stay in that fasted window, you keep going 17 hours, your brilliant body turns within and it goes, wait a second, no food's coming in. We better get stronger. So it literally takes the bad cells, the cells that are slowing you down, cells that are turning into cancer, and it gets rid of those. They're called senescent cells. It literally recycles them out of your system and it goes into the cells that are still usable and it makes them stronger. It fixes the intercellular parts. We call that autophagy.
We vibrate on the frequency. Emotions is a magnet. Thoughts manifest. Now you force to take action. Fail, but fail faster because endurance is a test. We only learn when we fall. Every no turns to yes. Take a deep breath. Don't become overwhelmed by the stress. Think about what you overcame. The situation will be next. Life is long, live it, survive. Move on to the next. I made mistakes. I'm a new man, but God gave me a second chance. No fear, I gotta go for mine. The top is only for those who climb. It's a lonely road when you're chosen, so never wait to be given roses. Grow your own. Stay focused. Your time is approaching. And treat family and friends the same when it's time to judge, because you can see through water, but not through blood. Never be afraid to fail. We only lose for not trying. And procrastination is another form of dying. Every life serves a purpose, but a fish won't climb a tree. Open your eyes and see what you really want to be.
You need to slow down and be gentle with yourself. You've been dealing with so much for so long, and you need to give yourself some time to heal. I hope someday you see yourself the way I see you, because you are the strongest I know and deserve the most beautiful life. Don't apologize for struggling.
This is the way I've heard the legend passed down through the ages. A time will come when the earth and all of life will need our help. At this time, a tribe will gather from all cultures of the world. They will be recognized by their spirit connection.
You must not, no, I don't want to use that word, must not, because I'm not trying to talk to you as an authority. I'm trying to talk to you as somebody who's opening your mind up, a helper, not a father figure. So the point is, therefore, that you can do everything you have to do in this spirit. Don't make a distinction between work and play. Regard everything that you're doing as play, and don't imagine for 1 minute that you've got to be serious.
You all knew before you chose these lives that this was going to be an age of great transformation on your planet. Many of you just couldn't resist going along for the ride. You say, I want to be there right at that time. That's so exciting. It's so interesting. Yeah, I know it'll be a little bumpy, but the interest, the excitement, the outcome will make it worthwhile. But the point is that if your people can go through the idea of finding light through the experience of extreme dark, if you can do that, then anything is possible.
Can anyone explain how does the mirror know that there's an object there?
No, that has to be fake, right? We don't have any eggs, but we do have Buffalo Wild Wings Parmesan garlic sauce, so we'll use that. This can't be true. Okay. Face it that way. Oh!
I want you to repeat these 3 things every night and watch your reality transform. 1. I am a magnet for abundance and success. Everything I desire comes to me easily and effortlessly. 2. I am open to receiving unlimited prosperity, and I welcome wealth in all its forms into my life. 3. I attract my deepest desires effortlessly as the universe conspires in my favor. Repeat all 3 every night as you are drifting to sleep. Or even better, download InnerTune to record them and play them throughout the night. You will begin to reprogram your subconscious mind, match the vibration of what you want, and watch them start to effortlessly flow into your life.
I assume that it's done. And then I commune with myself and gave thanks within me that it is done. And it works in every way You want to be, and you name it. You want to be successful in the world of Caesar, in dollars and cents, nothing wrong with it. You want to be a successful doctor, successful lawyer, I don't care what it is. You want to be, well then formulate in your mind's eye what it would be like if it were true. How would you see the world if you were now the man that you would like to be? See it in your mind's eye, and then yield yourself completely to the depth of your own being. How do I do that? Simply fall asleep in the assumption. I dare to assume that I am the man that at the moment reason denies, and then fall asleep in that assumption, leaving it completely to the depth of my own being to externalize it in my world. Wake tomorrow morning under compulsion to do certain things which I had not formulated, I hadn't determined. I'll find I'll meet the right people. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do the other, and it all adds up towards the externalization of my assumption. So within you is that power, within you is that wisdom to do anything that you desire in this world.
You don't fit in with any group, political party, or identify with any ism right now, then congratulations. You have what you need to begin the individuation process and find out who you really are. Don't waste the opportunity. Don't go looking for a tribe just yet. Allow yourself to be in the no man's land of not belonging to the current culture and use this experience as fuel to discover who you really are.
Every challenge, every difficulty, a stepping stone, a hurdle in the race of life. But remember, hurdles aren't there to stop us. They're there to be jumped over, to be conquered. In the face of adversity, the power of resilience emerges. It's not about the size of the challenge, it's about the strength of your will. The will to push, to strive, to rise above. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every failure, an opportunity for growth. Every struggle, a lesson to be learned. The journey may be tough, but you are tougher. The road may be long, but it's the journey that makes you stronger. Don't just face your challenges, rise above them. They may knock you down 7 times, but you stand up 8. Remember, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. When life pushes you, push back. When life knocks you down, rise above. Rise above the obstacles, rise above the doubts, rise above the fear, rise above and become the best version of yourself. Because in the end, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey to rise above. That's all for now. Keep pushing, keep striving, and always rise above.
That one friend that always tells you the truth, that never beats around the bush, never walks on eggshells, that hurts your feelings sometimes, he's not the asshole. All your other friends that sit idly by while you destroy yourself and tell you that you're just fine the way you are, they're the assholes. The best friends you can have in the world are the ones that don't care what you want to hear, they only tell you what you need to hear, and they'll keep it 100% real always. The friends that you hate the most in the short term are going to be the ones that you love the most in the long term, because they have your best interest in mind, they want to see you fulfill your potential and be what they know you can be.
Last 5 minutes of the day, before you go to sleep at night, are the most important 5 minutes of your day. You are now going to go into your subconscious mind for the next 8 hours, and you're going to marinate there in those 8 hours. As you enter into your subconscious mind, you can do one of 2 things. You can review all of the things that you didn't like, that didn't work, that disappointed you, all of the stuff that's going on in the world that you hate. Now you wake up, and your subconscious mind begins to offer you up experiences that match up to everything that you've placed in there. Or use those last 5 minutes to program into, I am well, I am healthy, I am content, I am peaceful, I am unattached, I am in love. And you just start to program yourself this way so that when you wake up, your subconscious mind, which can't make a distinction between the thoughts that you have or the actual things that are going on in your physical life. So if your subconscious mind is being programmed to say, this will never work out, the universal subconscious mind will begin to offer you experiences that match up to that, and you'll go through your whole life.
My parting word would be this: make sure that whenever you put something in your mouth, that something is going to complement you, and that it's going to serve you well. It's going to support your nervous system. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself stressed. Not only are you going to find reasons to dislike me, you're going to dislike yourself. Glucose is the greatest enemy that you could ever be faced with. Avoid it. Because the one thing you want to do is to love. And that love should begin with you. Once you love you, you love the whole world. It's easy. It's delicious to love everybody and everything.
Detox, detox, detox. So I love detox baths. They take care of radiation poisoning. They take care of pesticides. They take care of heavy metals, all kinds of things, even some parasites. So if you got a bathtub, you know someone's got a bathtub, that's the easiest, fastest way. Good old baking soda. So 1 or 2 cups of baking soda, 1 or 2 cups of Epsom salts in there. That already is a wonderful radiation detox. It gets fungus, yeast out of your body as well. You add a little bit of bentonite clay. Aztec Secret is a wonderful brand, 1/2 to 1 cup. Now you've also got a major pull of poison coming out. You add in 1 cup of borax, you know, that laundry detergent. That'll take nanotechnology out of you. You scrub down, scrub down, scrub down. 20 minutes, as hot as you tolerate it, right? I'm just getting a new website started, carriemade.com, M-A-D-E-J. I'll put all the detoxes. Everything I do is for free.
If you can understand what I'm about to say, thank you for the work you're doing. There is a shift in human consciousness that is currently happening, pushing humanity to disconnect and look within so that we can truly understand ourselves, so that we can better understand and heal our world for the purpose of evolution. An event that impacts our entire universe. See, we cannot heal in the same place that hurt us. For now, this shift can only be felt by those who have awakened. And it's being described through many names: ascension to fifth dimensional consciousness, the return of Christ consciousness, spiritual awakening, among other names. But all of those are just labels for that just one core happening, which is consciousness. What is consciousness? From my personal experience, when I first started experiencing this shift, it was like I finally became aware of myself, but not the identity self, the self beyond this physical, temporary body, the observer. I all of a sudden realized that what I thought to be true was not it. I had no other choice but to surrender everything that I thought I knew, which in truth were just programs, beliefs, concepts, and ideas that I had picked up along the way from others while I was looking for myself outside. I now know that I am everything, but I am also the nothing that becomes aware of itself. I can now see the interconnectedness of everything and everyone. This is how I now know that coincidence doesn't exist. It's synchronicities of an invisible network that connects all things and everyone. Albert Einstein said it best. He said, coincidence is just God's way of remaining anonymous. Now, in the coding of the Bible, and keyword coding, John 3:7, you must be born again. This is it. I felt that the person that I was had died and I was experiencing a rebirth. And at first, I thought that I was going crazy. But knowing what I know now, I was actually becoming sane in a world where insanity is considered being normal, realistic, and falling in line with the person in front of me. Yeah, no thanks. I'll think for myself and I will carve my own path. See, during this time and where your being is experiencing this rebirth, your mind truly becomes that which resembles the mind of a baby. You are now learning and observing new knowledge through frequency and vibration, which is how the mind of a baby learns in its early stages. You become aware of all energy, which can become overwhelming. Your mind becomes a receiver for new information that is now coming from within, in addition to the knowledge and experience that you have gathered throughout your life from your exterior world. Thus, it becomes a lonely path. You can now see through everything and everyone. The barriers you create are simply an attempt to respect the superficial privacy of others. This allows me to use Bayesian inference, which is a method of generating predictions based on new information, experience, prior knowledge, and belief. This is where spiritual discernment develops, as you are now operating from a state of knowing. Although belief is what creates this three-dimensional reality, belief ceases to exist in this higher state of consciousness. It's I describe it as direct access to God, which was once just an illusion. But once you truly get to see what God, the universe is, which is all within you, this world then becomes the illusion. Awakened souls are now taking the lead to show others what they yet cannot see. It's acting as a wave which will eventually realize it was always the whole ocean. I call this first wave of awakened souls the Ark, courageous and strong to take the ridicule, the judgment. But let me remind you that all great visionaries, the greatest minds, the greatest leaders to ever walk on this earth were first ridiculed, humiliated, and condemned by those who couldn't see what they could. It is only now that their visions have become our reality that we praise them. There is no stopping this shift in consciousness. It is our future. We must match the frequency of where our world is headed. A beautiful world of unconditional love and unity. A world led by the heart in balance with the mind.
Keep going. Things are going to fall into place, I promise. You might not understand your current obstacles right now, but eventually you will, and it will all make sense. Everything is coming together exactly as it should.
I challenge you to find peace in your suffering. I challenge you to find peace in your suffering. I know it can be hard. Life gets tough. There are things that happen to us that are completely out of our control. But the Bible tells us this, Romans 8:28. All things work out for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. God has a purpose for your life. God has a purpose for the season you're going through. God has a purpose for this moment of you watching this video. I don't know what you're dealing with, but my prayer and my hope for you is that you just have faith, that you just trust him and watch what God can do with an obedient heart to listen in and fulfill what he has in store for you. Let's go.
I don't care who I lose anymore for being me, for operating from an open heart, for being genuine, authentic, and for expressing my inner child. If you don't like who I am, and if my authenticity scares you away, because I demand the same from you, then so be it. See, once upon a time, there was a little girl that was forced to grow up too fast, because she was carrying things that she didn't deserve. She was abandoned by those who were supposed to love her the most. She was then misunderstood by everyone that surrounded her. See, she never got to experience a true childhood. So therefore, she grew up with a shielded heart. She fought alone in this cruel world of good and evil, a world created to train the greatest warriors. And although many got lost in their training, not her. She continued to face darkness to learn its secrets. The pain and unexpressed emotion that she buried alive within her, she saw it manifest onto her exterior world. At the time, she didn't understand, as within, so without. But then one night, she looked up at the moon, and she realized that she was looking at a reflection of herself. And just like the moon, her greatest magic came in her darkest time, when she had no other choice than to trust her own power. She created a space surrounded by love, by nature, by abundance. It was there she was able to heal all her wounds. She then rose like the moon, scarred, but shining brighter, stronger, and more powerful than ever. This new powerful her had only one mission: to allow her inner child to experience the childhood she never had. Now protected by her powerful higher self, she was not afraid to be vulnerable or to show her weaknesses. She was able to truly be her inner child, because she now knows that it is her scars that make her strong, beautiful, and powerful in the first place. I owe this to that little girl and to the generations ahead of her, because that little girl is me.
When we were kids in the backyard, playing astronauts and rock stars, no one told us to stop it, called us unrealistic. Then suddenly you're 18, go to college for your plan B. What you want is too risky, live for weekends and whiskey. We all got these big ideas, one day they're replaced with fear. How did we get here? Darling, don't quit your daydream, it's your life that you're making. It ain't big enough if it doesn't scare the hell out of you. If it makes you nervous, it's probably worth it. Why save it for sleep when you could be living your daydream? 31 waiting tables, she has the voice of an angel, out of money and power. She only sings in the shower. All these things we say we'll get to, shot down by the reasons not to. Darling, don't quit your daydream, it's your life that you're making. It ain't big enough if it doesn't scare the hell out of you. If it makes you nervous, it's probably worth it. Why save it for sleep when you could be living your daydream? So scared of failure that we fail to try, turning around before the finish line. Gotta fall for a minute before you can fly. So daydream, it's your life that you're making. It ain't big enough if it doesn't scare the hell out of you. If it makes you nervous, it's probably worth it. Why save it for sleep when you could be living your daydream? Why save it for sleep when you should be living your daydream?
I was searching, I was looking for meaning. I was wondering, desperately trying only to see I have nothing missing. Who said I have to find who I am? Who said that I am lost to begin with? I am already enough. Everything I need is within me. Each morning when I wake up, I'm grateful for the beauty around me. Life is a gift, I wanna enjoy it. Always proving my worth only destroys it. I am already enough. Everything I need is within me. My motivation can't be validation. I'd always be starving for more affection, the wrong attention, only to feel like I am nothing. Who said I have to find who I am? Who said that I am lost to begin with? was searching, I was looking for meaning. I was wondering, desperately trying only to see I have nothing missing. Who said I